Yes, welcome back to the show. We are still tuned in to Ekse. Do hit us up on our social media platforms on Facebook. We are still at Ekse on Cape Town TV. Also find us on Twitter, Ekse_live. Right now, though, we are joined by a gentleman, which I feel my co-host was pissed off about something that he has done, but we'll be talking about that during the interview. His name is Mr. Naidoo. He dropped out of college, I remember mentioning this earlier, to pursue his love for software engineering. Has joined a company 4 weeks ago called Lumkani. What this company do, they go around, particularly in townships, installing fire alarm systems for the neighborhood, and they target, I understand, poor background communities. Welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, thanks,
Hi,
man.
welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Nice
tell
to meet
us why you left school first,
Yes.
and how did the love for software engineering come about? Because I understand you say you taught yourself
you.
how
Yeah,
to.
yeah, exactly. So, about 3 years back, I was studying audio engineering, actually. I'm a musician, that kind of thing. So I thought that was like my life in a way. But it turns out that I didn't enjoy it. The industry's tough, but also I realized that when I was younger, that I was doing a lot of programming stuff, right?
Okay.
So I figured, let me just do that instead and just jump onto it, and then.
Now, to me, that explains the self-taught part, because I couldn't understand where do you begin to teach yourself software.
Yeah.
You already had a background in engineering as well as programming.
Yeah.
And then how did you then find Lumkani?
So basically, like, I'm pretty big in the civic tech industry, you could say. Like, do you guys perhaps know what civic tech is?
You, for the viewers who don't know, you're more than welcome to explain.
So basically, civic tech is to deal with anything that affects South Africa from a technical point of view, like social impact, like government projects or anything of that sort. But yeah, like any project that's involved like that. So I actually built a project that aims to democratize the K53, so make it publicly accessible to just about anybody. And yeah, that's the kind of.
How far is that?
I currently have another person joining me on the project, but essentially I'm trying to make it as accessible as possible, because I mean, we spend money on it. People can't afford to buy the book at Pick and Pay. So essentially I'm just trying to make that available to
That is
everyone.
so cool, because like I will take that into consideration so much, because I know I went 7 times. But I think that I'm
So you needed
joking.
this
I do
app.
know people have been 7 times though. But let's go back
Yeah.
to this question I have. How does the podcast impact the communities of Cape Town that you created? Or are doing, excuse me.
Are you talking about the podcast that I started?
Readme.fm.
Yeah,
Yes, we understand that you have a
readme.fm,
podcast.
Yeah, so essentially, like, the podcast is also based around like the civic tech aspect. And I mean, you guys might notice it, but like every morning when you wake up, you see like an article on your newsfeed that says, okay, somebody has been murdered or killed, right? And for me, that's the biggest issue with South African media, is that, I mean, there's just too much negative stuff that's just being pushed out. And essentially that's why I wanted to start something that showcases like the good that people's doing in South Africa. Similar to like the project that I made and that kind of thing. So yeah.
Speaking of things that are good for the community, Lumkani installs fire system alarms. Tell us more about the company and the importance of having this system in your home. Because I understand an alarm for maybe when a robber breaks in, and then that alerts the nearby police or whatever to come in. What happens with the fire system alarm?
So I actually brought one. If you guys want to see it.
Yeah.
This is it, actually.
Yes.
Why looks like a million? That's it. Did you have it inside?
Yeah, I had it inside. So
it fits in a pocket, basically.
yeah, it's pocketable. It's also, I mean, it does a lot of good.
Yeah.
So
Tell us more about
essentially,
it.
How does it work?
so essentially, this gets installed on the top of the shack,
Yeah.
but it uses the heat of the fire to detect, right?
Yeah.
And what happens is that there's actually all the other neighboring shacks also have it. So if one detects it, all of them actually go off and it alerts everybody else. Because the reason is that like shacks are so close together that if one catches on fire,
The others as well.
all of it
Domino
catches on
effect.
fire, right? So this also sends a message, an SMS to the owner to notify them that
Wow, that's
there's
amazing.
a fire, yeah.
An SMS? So when there's a fire, you alerted, and then how does the traffic department then can assist? Or is it for the neighbors to remove their goods?
Yeah, so the cool thing is that the detector is made by the company Lumkani, but also with the detector they offer insurance, fire insurance, funeral insurance. So I think it's about 60 Rand for fire cover, and they do a payout within like 3 days of up to like 50,000 Rand, something around about of that value. So they have like a very tight-knit system, and I think they have about close to about 35,000 of these across South Africa.
Wow,
installed,
that's dope, yeah. How do people then want, if you do you charge them to install this system, what happens?
So the detector is actually free, but if you take out like for example fire cover, then it comes with the detector.
Okay.
So generally they have like these agents that come around to your place from the community, and they basically ask you, hey, would you be interested in installing this or that kind of thing, and then that's the process.
Let's look ahead a bit, eh? Did you see yourself taking this career when you were still in high school, though? Besides, like, knowing about sound engineer, because it's taking you really far. It's also, despite the fact that you dropped out of college, though, it's taking you really far. So, do you also think, like, knowing that you dropped out of college, it's advisable for someone else to do that as well, or do you think it's because you have a skill?
I think it greatly depends on the person as well. Like, if you have that drive and that passion to do what you want, then by all means you can, if you have some idea of what you want to do that will take you far, then why not do it, you know? That's the same thing that I had as well, that I just left it all and just decided, let me start my own thing, and then just escalated from there.
Earlier, Amy mentioned your podcast, readme.fm, and now everybody knows this, the IA world, everything is digital now. Do you have any maybe plans or aspirations of making a visual version of it, or do you rather have people just listen to the podcast? Briefly, for people who do not know what a broadcast is, I mean a podcast, can you let them know what it is?
So basically a podcast is like a audio medium. It's kind of like the way radio works, where you have presenters come on and just speak about a topic or talk about the guest, that kind of thing. So it's a very, I would say it's a very inclusive medium. Like, it's very accessible to some people more than video, and that's what makes it so easy as well, I guess, to just start one.
So what would you say the distinct difference between a podcast and a radio is?
Is that there isn't really much difference, but I think it's just that a podcast is more geared to a certain like concept, like a certain topic, like cars podcast or IT podcast, that kind of thing.
And yours focus more mainly on city tech?
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
I mean, just because I'm so involved in the civic tech community, and the projects that I do is just driven by the passion for them. So, yeah.
I haven't asked though, has anyone actually come to you and ordered one of those fire alarms though?
So actually, you guys, as you guys know, the target market is more of the lower income market,
you mentioned this.
and so it's very isolated to that area right now. But there is a forward motion into getting this into like more formal communities, more formal housing. But I do get a lot of family members that just ask me, hey, can I get this for my garage or something?
So it's harder for the public to access it, or should be family members of Mr. Naidoo?
Yeah, I would say it's a bit harder for like just general consumers, but they're recently rolling out this thing where you can go to a Pick and Pay now and try to pick up a device there that I remember.
Then they install it for you, or you just buy it and then you do it yourself?
I think it's a DIY thing.
And nobody came back to you with any issues or complaints and things like that?
Not that I know of, no. Not that I know of.
So I understand that you do amazing work with the community, with Coldbridge Community Evening. Tell us more about that initiative.
So Coldbridge itself is it's a public space where we get a lot of journalists, speakers, bloggers, tech professionals that come together and work on these civic tech projects like the K53. Also, notably, one of the projects that got amazing publicity was the 1976 death map, which was showcased at the Uzika Museum for the Youth Day, which is pretty amazing, I would say. Like,
can you tell us more about it?
So the project was showing, like, it was basically a map of like all all the deaths that occurred in 1976 during the Hector Peterson.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys
Yes, we do. Go away.
know of that. Yeah, just checking. So,
Wow.
so essentially, that just showed like all the people that were basically killed during the day. But that kind of topic is generally like not like it's a taboo kind of thing. But essentially, it showcased like the correlation between that and like the current high crime rates and the areas also affected.
How do people get involved with this Cottbridge Community Evening?
Basically, you can just go to like meetup.com and then just search Cottbridge Newlands, and then search like you'll see like the meetup pops up, and then you just say I'm going to this community evening one, and then you can just come through and then just find a project that seems interesting to you.
Cool.
We have a lot of people actually from like the broadcast and media side of things that come looking to make like these impact videos that showcase some part of South Africa.
Yeah, that's amazing. This is
thing,
dope work. Yeah.
Quick before we go, where do you see this your company or what you're doing right now leading to in the future?
I definitely see. I definitely see like Lumkani as this way. It's more about financial inclusion, like bridging the gap between people who can't afford access to certain things like formal settlements can. And essentially, I see Lumkani as this bridge between that. So anything, it can be maybe security, fire, it can be even maybe personal loans towards these people that generally can't or considered high risk by banks.
Yeah.
Quickly, before we let you go, where can people find you on social media? And anybody that was interested in the conversation, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. It's at Shailen_Naidoo. And you can also perhaps find me on, I'm not too sure actually.
Lumkani, the company itself?
Yeah, Lumkani. You can find us on LinkedIn. Just search Lumkani. You can find us, yeah, basically they're pretty active on LinkedIn as well.
Thank you so much for joining us and for coming through and
Appreciate
talking
you
about
having me.
Lumkani and everything else that got to do with what you just spoke about.